What's that say there? BBC Director General Tim Davie defends licence fee model. The boss of the BBC defending the licence fee. That doesn't sound right to me. Hi, it's me again. Yeah, and headlines do make me chuckle a bit sometimes when I see them, especially a lot of BBC headlines that I see. But that one did make me laugh. Have a look. BBC Director General Tim Davie defends licence fee model. We don't need more share, we need to be relevant. I mean, shock horror, breaking news, right? That the boss of the BBC defends the licence fee model that gets them 3.7-ish billion quid a year. Why would he defend that? That makes no sense at all to me. But then the other bit, we don't need more share, we need to be relevant. No, you need both of those things to warrant having your licence fee, which is unwarrantable anyway. But you do need more share. You need to be making more stuff that brings in more viewers to please the viewers who are paying you 13 quid a month. Because let's face it, right? You'd never hear Netflix, who charge a similar fee, saying we don't need more share. Of course they want more share. It's more share is more of that. And if they don't be relevant and make good stuff to get more share, people will cancel their Netflix subscriptions and Netflix will go out of business, as, you know, happened to them recently. They lost a lot of subscribers, didn't they? It's coming back a bit for them now. Good for them, whatever, don't care. But the BBC are just missing a trick with everything. You do need more share and you do need to be more relevant. Bloody BBC. There are loads of funding solutions you could get, Davie said after being grilled by BBC journalist Amal Rajan. Grilled by his own employee. Yeah, okay. Okay, whatever. I'd grill you, Tim. If you want to be grilled, where was this? It was filmed at the RTS convention, the Royal Television Society convention. If you want to be grilled and have some real proper questions, why not invite someone like me, for instance? Not if you don't like me, that's okay. There's many people like me out there that will happily interview you and ask you some proper questions for once. What about Dennis Reed from Silver Voices? He tried to get an appointment to meet you, which you made. You made an appointment to meet with Dennis Reed of Silver Voices last year. And then when he turned up, you weren't there. You sent your lackeys. Don't like being grilled properly, do you, Mr. Davie? My view is if I can't, as Editor-in-Chief, act independently and impartially, then the BBC is over. Final thing is, I think you cannot separate funding model from editorial intent and delivery. I don't agree with that at all. And what you're saying there, right, you can't separate the funding model from your editorial intent and delivery. Well, your funding model is provided by Royal Charter, by the British government. So what you've just said is you can't separate yourself from the British government. So how can we trust anything you say in your news reports about the British government if you, in your own words, can't separate yourself from them? If you make your own money, you can say what you want. All right, there's some bits in there where if you've got heavy-duty sponsors and advertisers on your network, you may not be able to say some negative things about them. I get that. But if you go with a subscription model, for instance, say whatever you want about whoever you want, because you are then completely independent, aren't you? Davie also argued that the model was sustainable. We can deliver the vast majority of households paying for a licence fee because they get good value from it, he said. Now, as you know, I'm not a licence fee payer, so I can't tell you if it's good value for money or not. I can look on from the outside and say, I don't believe it is good value for money. But as a non-payer, I can't give you the answer if it's good value. Are you a licence fee payer? Let me know if you think it's good value. 13 quid a month for what you get from the BBC. When Rajan pointed out that in the previous year, 74% of the BBC's budget came from the licence fee, with the remainder from commercial activities. He asked whether that ratio could increase in favour of the commercial activities. Davie replied it was unlikely given the figures. To subsidise and take over from the licence fee, do the math, as they say. He said the licence fee allows you to spend against your objectives in your mission. I'm not interested in the BBC growing at the expense of the overall market, he added. We don't need more share, we need to be relevant. Spoken like somebody who gets free money every month from the British people. Can you ever imagine ITV saying something like that? A commercial channel. ITV turnover, I think it's 1.4 billion quid a year, and they are all commercial. Right, a little bit of subscription from ITV Hub Plus or whatever they call it, but it's mostly commercial, right? Can you imagine them saying, We don't need more share. Can you actually? No, they want more share, more viewers, more money from advertisers. It's ridiculous. Like I say, they turn over 1.4 billion quid a year-ish, ITV. Now, the BBC reckon they need over 4.2 billion quid a year to survive. Does that not sound bloated to you? Does that not sound ridiculous to you? I made a video about this last week. Have a look. That is the GDP of many countries put together. And think what a country has to have. Roads, infrastructure, bridges, hospitals, teachers, schools, all of that. These countries survive on less money than that. BBC can't run itself on that. It's bloated, it's fat, and it needs to change massively. And it needs to go commercial. Everybody wins if the BBC go commercial. The BBC are no longer beholden to the British government for its money, meaning that you can then trust the news to be properly independent when they're talking about the British government. Right? They're incentivized, if they're commercial, to make better stuff, because better stuff means more viewers, which means more advertising revenue. Everybody wins. They need to go commercial. And the things, how the boss of the BBC can say, we don't need more share, we need to be relevant, just astounds me. Astounds me. He should be working to grow towards a commercial entity. Because what's going to happen if the license fee doesn't get renewed in 2027? Long shot. I know it's a long shot. But let's say the license fee charter didn't get renewed in 2027. What would the BBC do? What would the BBC do? Start working now to grow towards being more commercial. And let's face it, you're not shy about being bloody commercial, are you? Many people still don't know that the BBC 100% own the UK TV network, Dave, Gold and all of that. They show ads, loads of BBC shows on there, covered in ads. Covered in ads, aren't they? Dream world. They live in a dream world. Free money, isn't it? You give me 4 billion a year, I'll live in a dream world as well, because I won't have to work for it, will I? It just winds me up when I see things so out of touch as this. And I've seen Tim Davie speak, and as a person, I think I could get on with him. You know, I've seen him speak. I like the way he speaks. I've read a bit about his history. I don't dislike the man himself. But, you know, he's in charge of the BBC, which means he's in charge of the 4.2 billion quid a year income that the BBC gets. And he's still getting a black hole in his finances of 300 odd million a year. What are you doing, mate? If you can't run the business, find somebody who can, because it looks like you might be struggling. I know it's a good gig to have on your CV and everything, but this is funded by the British people. It needs someone who knows what they're doing. And I've lost all confidence in you knowing what you're doing. Because 4.2 billion quid a year, you should not have a 300 million quid black hole a year. Should you? Should you? I don't know. Let me know what you think about it all down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully, I'll see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da.